I was brought up as a Muslim, and we were told that Islam is the final and the most authoritative religion out there. And we were really, really proud of being a Muslim. So from a young age, I remember we were told to, and we were taught to read the Quran. We were told that we were supposed to rehearse it, and we were supposed to memorize the verses. So from a young age, we were all exposed to a community and a society that was predominantly Islamic. And we learned about the laws, the Sharia, the rules, the do's and the don'ts. And it became second nature for us to just basically follow it. So whenever we were dealing with people who are non-Muslim, we were always told, and the society always had this notion that we have to look down upon them because they are not exactly perfect, because they do not have what we have. And of course, as a good Muslim, we're supposed to basically tell them that they should convert from their belief into Islam and come into the brotherhood of Islam. But again, that was what we were brought up with, that it is the final authority. Allah was a very vengeful God, that we all had to fear Allah. And if we did not obey Allah and Allah's many rules, then we were surely to be struck down either by men or by God Himself. And we always had the fear of afterlife, that if we did not obey Allah and Allah's rules and the Prophet's rules, then for sure we'll end up in hell. I remember my early teen years, I was introduced to different cultures because of traveling. And we came across different religions, predominantly Christians, and also Jews. And I started being curious because I was always told that they're forbidden. It's like the forbidden apple, the forbidden fruit of the tree that you're not supposed to touch. And that's a major sin. But I was very, very much encouraged in a way. Like deep inside there was a voice. There was a notion that told me that there's something that is special about these people that is contradictory to the belief that I had and I was told to have. These people were curiously loving. And it was really amazing because a true Christian, somebody who truly believed in their faith, they were practically blameless. And their God was blameless. And their belief was blameless. That was interesting to me. There was something about this Jesus that made me very curious. He talked about love. And he said, if somebody does you wrong, love them. Now that is totally in contradiction to what I was told and to the religion that I was brought up with and I believed in with every fiber of my being. Because what I was told is if somebody is not of your nature, of your mind, of your belief, then they're infidels. But here comes Christ and says, you know what, you have to love your enemies. And that is a message that was just such a warm message to my heart that I wanted to embrace it, but I had the fear. Because it was very difficult to go against what you had believed in for many years and the roots and the culture that is so deeply woven in your belief. So it was extremely difficult for me to leave what I had and grasp this new ideology. One night my mother had a dream, and the dream was about Christ. Now, mind you, let me take you back, that the marriage that my parents had was not a good marriage. The love and passion was not there anymore. So there was a constant struggle between my mom and dad, and that was something that I remember we used to run away from. So years after, my mom had a dream, and the dream was about Christ calling her to come to her. Now, my mom had never ever gone to a church. It was just amazing. So without getting involved in her dream, my mom gave her heart to Christ. And in a matter of a few weeks, we started seeing a fundamental change in my mom, in her actions, in the way she would retaliate towards my father. Before then, she would retaliate with harshness, with unforgiveness. But then after she started giving her heart to Christ, we started seeing a lot of sacrifice, a lot of love. It's as if she had in the depth of her soul this spring that kept on giving her, nourishing her in love and sacrifice. My father came to me and said, what is wrong with your mom? Is she okay? Maybe she has some kind of a psychological problem. And we were all shocked, but we realized that the nature of my mom had been transformed. from somebody who was unforgiving and bitter to somebody who's loving, and there was nothing but sacrificial love. And she had this thirst to read this book called the Bible. So after a while, about 6 months of struggling with this whole thing and denying it for myself, I basically bowed down and I said, God, I don't know you. I don't know Jesus and his teachings. I don't know this Yahovah, but this is not the same at all. There's nothing that these two beliefs share with each other. And I'm confused. And I don't know what to choose. But God, I cannot deny the changes that I see in front of my own eyes in my own house with my mom and my dad. Although I'm afraid, I'm very afraid to grasp you, Jesus. But I want the same thing that my mom has. And if it's Jesus, then I want it. And from that moment on, my life started changing. It was that simple. There was a lot of fear. Fear of not being accepted. Fear of going against the norm, the standard. But when you actually see your own household changes, things, you just cannot deny it with your own mom, with your own parents. It's not somebody else from outside coming and trying to brainwash you. It's not somebody trying to evangelize you and force you to accept their religion and their belief. It's a genuine thing. It's for real in your own household, and there's no way to deny it.